Thank you. Good morning. It is 9:35. We are calling to order the meeting of the subcommittee to select a new city manager. This is the process for selecting the executive search firm. We started with 13 applicants. We narrowed it down to 2. At our last meeting, we interviewed both of them and are now in the process for selecting a finalist that we will recommend to the entire council for their approval. Today, we're joined by Councilmember Perkins, Councilmember Fears, myself, interim city manager Lisa Reynolds, Rich Sessi from procurement. I'm sorry, you are the manager or director? I never did. Manager, okay, of procurement services, city clerk Susanna Holland, and assistant city manager Charlie DeSalle. And joining us online are municipal services Mike Jackson, and IT services Jason Newkirk. And I'm sorry, I don't,
Mary Mead, she is procurement specialist.
Fantastic. Okay. Very good. So we are ready to start, and I will turn it over to Rich because he compiled everyone's scoring and we will see what that reveals.
Yes, ma'am. So I will share my screen for the reveal. Very remote, please. Mm-hmm. So I can hear a little bit.
Oh,
Let me make this a little bit bigger.
I hope so. Because I don't have enough pairs of glasses to put on.
Oh, stay here, folks. Start with 150. See if that's helpful. Now we need to make it a little bit bigger, especially with that kind of screen that we got. Okay. So what I'm doing is a reveal of all the round scoring. So this is like the initial scoring from the initial 13 respondents that we had. And so we have a range of, like, for instance, Art Municipal Support 64, Berkeley Search Consultant 69, Bob Murray and Associates and 75, Colin Bainziger and Associates, who is one of our finalists, had 93. See some of the other scores. I'll just slide over to the next semifinalist that we had, which was Strategic Government Resources, aka SGR. They were at 97. And the last one in the list, this is like all alphabetical, 64. So going from there, I did a rankings as far as the evaluators, who was number 1 and who was number 2 ranked respondent. And it was SGR across the board for that first round. So then we did the second round where we added points for the presentation and intangibles that separated folks from the first round to the second round cut. And those variables that were scored were presentation skills and communication skills. Oh, let me make that bigger. That's not helpful. All right, let's start over again. All right, presentation and communication skills, understanding of community and organizational needs, recruitment strategy and candidate sourcing, candidate evaluation and screening approach. There were 50 additional points on top of the initial 100. And so with the evaluations that we got, Bainziger and Associates had an average of 41. Strategic Government Resources had an average of 44. Round it down to just 44. So then when you go over to the round 2 rankings, let me make this bigger again. SGR across the board was the most favored respondent, with Bainziger being number 2. So then from there, when you combine the scores for the first and second round, you've got the round 1 scoring average of 93 for Bainziger, 97 for SGR for round 1. Then the round 2 average, which is what I just spoke to, 41 for Bainziger, 44 for SGR. When you add those two together, the combined round 1 and 2 scores, Bainziger was 134 and Strategic Government Resources, SGR, was 141. And so then I put my little notation in there. SGR, unanimous high scoring respondent. And the numbers are speaking to SGR, and I'll yield the floor now to the committee.
Well, I guess the question is, do we just take this? Are there pieces of information you feel like we need to discuss? These are things that we appreciated a lot about Colin Benzinger that we'd like to incorporate into the SGR contract. Are we comfortable making a recommendation based on this to the council or SGR?
I think the only question in my mind, I'm comfortable with the recommendation to council of SGR. I'm wondering if the committee needs to discuss which of their services we
Yes.
want to add to that base.
I didn't think we started that a little bit at the last meeting. The notes that I took on that were that we expected the initial conversations to be in person. That we wanted the disc testing as something that we would use in order to help transition the city manager. That we talked about using their survey tool. And then also that we'd like them to do at least some form of town hall when the finalist candidates are here. Those are the only notes that I captured. Did anybody capture anything else that we didn't get to? And do we still agree to those items?
Yeah, I think that was a fair capture.
Okay,
That's
Are there-
what I'm looking
are
at
there-
mine. I'm just trying to look at
Okay.
Trying to pull that up.
I really enjoyed both of their presentations. I thought they did really good. And when it came down to the second round of evaluations, for me, they both did equally good. It was just some of the difference, like Colin didn't do this testing, but we wanted the testing. So it really came down to those little minute
Okay.
things for me.
were there stylistic differences between them that caught your attention?
I really like the camaraderie of build there that Collins had. The experience, I think, came across just a little tad bit more. And I think that's where they felt more comfortable, perhaps not doing this testing.
Sure.
Um,
And they seemed like they knew each other well, what each one did well.
mhm.
That's one of the things that I asked Rich to follow up with. Rebecca and Billy is like, what's their mix of time going to be? And they came back and said that Rebecca was gonna be 60% and Billy was going to be 40%. To me, that means she's gonna take the lead and he's gonna be the support. And that mix felt better to me.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I thought both firms really did a good job, and I appreciated what they had to say. One thing that kind of maybe swayed me a little bit towards SGR was that they seemed to have a broader depth that they could go relative to possible candidates. And that probably swayed me a little bit that direction, but I thought they were really close in terms of my scoring, so.
And I think, even though Billy is quite new, SGR has polished their process. So all of that behind the scenes work of background checks, et cetera, I think they've got that down to a science. That'll be a piece that'll be important for us. So in order to give good guidance to Rich as he's beginning to think about those negotiations, are there any other aspects we want to be sure that we talk through with them so that we are crystal clear that we're getting what we need from how they collect their information, what resources they need to be able to put their brochure together, how they release that, and do we agree with the places that they're doing ad placement, to how they've structured the first round interviews, second round interviews, and then the engagement piece with staff, with perhaps a community advisory group and some public input. So I feel like those are decisions part of those will, I think, be made in conversation with them. So that's my next question, like, how do we do that so that we all understand? Can we have a wrap-up conversation with them once they're approved so that the members of this committee get to hear them say out loud, yes, this is what we're going to do, this is how we do the process? Or do we just read the contract? Since we've not been involved in this, I don't know how you do this.
Yeah, to me, I mean, I see next steps as, socializing with them, SGR, hey, we found favor on you guys. Is there anything documentation wise, that we need to be mindful of? I mean, they put in their response, they had like some verbiage about if there's a records request, they want some specific heads up notice on it. Anything else
Okay.
that may be behind the scenes underneath the surface with their response that we don't know of. I think that's one thing to present to them once we tell them, we're finding favor with you. And then any kind of accumulation of questions like that, I think we could put that out to them.
Okay. So how long does it normally take to negotiate the contract?
Well, really, when it comes to this, I'm looking to see if they have any flags as far as things to our terms, conditions, and the only thing that they had was the language about open records requests and notice to them. So I'll say, to them, hey, we look at you as far as being the company that we prefer to have you guys do this contract. Can you execute our contract? Sign it, send it to us. And then once they send it to us, you guys, have your conversations if you want to have another conversation about moving forward with them. And then once you guys bless it, then, we can move forward and countersign it and start whatever process you guys want to do. That's how I see it.
Okay. When we sign the contract, we have agreed to a timeline.
Mhm.
And so I think we need to be sure that on Monday, we're crystal clear with our colleagues what that timeline looks like. So we're gonna need that printed out,
And that's a good point. I think,
timeline looks like.
yeah,
I also want to be sure that we can talk about what budgetary line item these dollars come out of. And we need to think about budget to include spouse, because I think that's key when we think about our bringing people to town. Anything else we need to be sure that we,
Brochures to where we're going to recruit from. I think a good opportunity here is to really work into their network for minority group for our town. So I can't remember if that was a built-in for
it was.
SGR.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
part of it.
Up to 2,500, is that what I'm remembering, or was that someone else?
Yeah, it was up to 2,500.
Okay, so good,
If it's over that, then
right? They'll probably work with us. They seem to be pretty good at it.
I would think they know what that's gonna take, so.
Okay. Yeah, I think the conversation that we've had, we could just reiterate to them, we'll get the hard timeline and get that presented to them.
Can we make sure that the proposal is sent to the committee, to the entire council? So that it's
contract,
easy to open
contract
up,
with the pricing and all that. Yeah,
yes,
for sure.
and their actual proposal.
Yeah,
So that, because they may not have read all of these, and I'd like for them to be able to read the proposal and also understand what the contract looks like. I get it that they're part and parcel, but the pretty part and the contract. I really do want to be sure that we understand what staff resources these guys need. Like,
That's
what
important.
are they gonna need from
Yeah.
the PIO? What are they gonna need from administration? Because on the front end, there's a whole bucket full of stuff they're gonna be asking for. And then, the results that we had from the staff survey, we'd like to send that to them. The compilation of the notes from the directors sent to them as well. I'll work with you on this, Rich, but I just want to be sure that we try to maximize their time. So anything that at least gives them a framework for the next set of discussions will help them know us better. Okay, so just reiterating, we've asked for add-ons to the 27,919 contract to include disc testing, the survey tool, that we expect them to be in person at least for a day to begin their conversations with staff and council. And that we expect some form of community engagement during the final aspect of our interviews. And they offered us recorded versus streamed screening interviews, and it seemed like the consensus of this group is that we did not want them to be recorded, that we wanted them to be interactive. Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay.
So, just, my recollection is that the resolution that created this committee was to recommend to the full council. So, I make a motion to recommend that to the full council with the, items that you listed.
Second that.
You got that, Suzanne, with the add-ons to the contract? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous. So we will make the recommendation. We will bring this to the full council on Monday at a special meeting at 5 o'clock. And at that point, we're able to vote as a full council and move that forward. Also in the resolution, we are responsible for the contract. So this will outline it, but the finals will be addressed here, is my recollection of that. Do you agree? Okay. Okay, what else do we need to address?
That's it. We've done quite a bit of stuff here, so.
Do you need us, everybody already turned your things in, you don't need our hard copies? Okay, great.
Thank you for all that. So.
Yes, thank
Not
you.
there, so appreciate that.
We got
some stuff are recording.
yes, so we are going to adjourn this meeting at 9:52.
Mention really quick, the meeting Monday at 5. I know Jeremy's trying to get an exec session at 5 too.
That's part of it.
Oh, it is all, okay. Okay. Amendments.
So that'll be ours will have to be an open meeting for this part for the vote, because you can't vote and close.